Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
So y'all, let me show you how on the credit report, as you can see, it shows that the information was verified. It states that the public record belongs to me, how it went from this to this, stating that the information is no longer found or being reported on my credit report. Hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm with the J Consultant, and I just show people how to strategically and legally remove bankruptcies from their credit report. So I ended up filing bankruptcy back in like 2020. And honestly, I was just over my head. Like I was way over my head. And I knew that with the money that I made or that I was making and the debt that I had, it was going to take me a long time, if ever, to be able to pay that debt off. And so I just ended up filing bankruptcy. I'm from this small town in Louisiana called Jonesboro, Louisiana. And population is like 4,000 people. And honestly, a lot of people were not financially literate. So I was never really taught about, like finances and budgeting, and like things like that. And so once you just grow up in life and you just start to learn things, you make a lot of mistakes. And then you just go back and you correct your mistakes. If you learn from them, you correct them. But that's one of the reasons why I actually give the older generation a lot of grace, because times were just different. Back in their day, they didn't have the technology that we have now. And that's one of the reasons why, I feel like I became so knowledgeable of different spaces in my life was due to technology. And then the fact that I'm just a risk taker too. And I learned from my lessons, any mistakes that I've ever made in the past, I just made sure that once I'm back in this space, I'm going to do it the right way, So I ended up filing bankruptcy. And I don't regret it. It was actually one of the best decisions that I made because it allowed me to start over. And what really made me more confident to file bankruptcy, because I knew that I could get my bankruptcy removed from my credit report. Y'all, so I'm not political at all, but I do pay attention to what the different political advisors do. I just like to understand where someone is coming from or where they're trying to come from as far as like their perspective. So I listen to both sides, but I'm not political at all. But when I learned that Trump, who's in office now, filed bankruptcy as many times as he did, it just made me really go off into doing more research on bankruptcy and the bankruptcy laws and things like that, which is the reason why I was confident to file, because I knew that I can get it taken out of my credit report. So I ended up quitting my job back in like 2016, right? And for me personally, I just knew that I couldn't work in corporate America. One, it just really didn't make sense to me as far as just the way that it was structured, the way that they did things. Like I remember, because like life happens, right? So like say for instance, you working at a call center, you get up in the morning, you go outside, like you have a routine. So you go outside, normal time, things like that. You walk outside, you got a flat tire. So now you're possibly going to be late or you can't come in. And you get a point for that. And I'm like, that's just life. You could be working for these companies. It doesn't matter how much time you're working for them. And something like that happened and they punish you behind it. And it's like, I can't. Then also when it comes to like salary. So for me personally, I knew that a job could not pay me the amount of money that I needed to make in order for me to just properly take care of myself and my loved ones. Because a job puts a cap on your salary. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with having a job. Especially as an entrepreneur, I actually suggest that people have a job while in entrepreneurship. Just for not necessarily the stability, because there's really no stability in anything. But I would just rather bet on myself than to bet on a company. Because they'll just walk up to you at any moment and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yeah, because I believe in myself personally. So I just like to be in control of my own life. But I knew that with having this bankruptcy on my credit report, that it could possibly prevent me from like scaling my business. Because say for instance, like if I wanted to take out a personal loan, a business loan, and I need to like co-sign my business loan with my personal credit, by that being on there, it would prevent me from being able to get those type of loans. So I was just like, yeah, this got to get up out of here. So initially, when I sent in, so it showed you, let me show, is this the one? Yeah, okay. So it says that it was verified. Let me zoom in a little bit, see if y'all can see it. But initially it says it was verified. And then it goes back into this one. We'll slow it down, y'all can see. But it goes back into that one, which shows that the disputed item is not currently reported on your Equifax credit profile. And just going back to this one, where it shows that it was verified, it shows that it was verified. You zoom in. It says this section includes public record items, Equifax, obtained from local, state, and federal courts through a third-party vendor, LexisNexis, which is the reason why I always try to advise people to get it removed from those third parties like LexisNexis before you start actually sending out disputes, because you can prevent that process. But this is the thing too. Even if you have that information, as far as like the LexisNexis information, the letter from the course that you sent it in, legally, the different consumer reporting agencies, which is Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, they are allowed 3 stalls per year. So say, for instance, you send out a dispute, they send you a BS letter back, you dispute it again, they'll send you some, you dispute it again, they'll send you some. Well, that's 3 months right there. But by that time, people normally give up. Because I don't know what it is when it comes to like this world that we live in now. I blame it on social media, but we live in an instant gratification world. I call it a microwavable generation. But for like my generation, so I'm 40. So like I'm a millennial. So like for my generation and the older generation, I'm always confused on when they want things instantly, because I'm like, we've been in this world for too long to know that life don't work that way. You know, I think I would rather wait that time to get that taken off than to be paying a whole bunch of interest rates. Like, look at this example that I put up right now, where it shows the difference of having a bankruptcy on your credit report without having one on your credit report. And this is the interest. So say, for instance, you got a car loan, right? Typically for a car loan, it'll normally be like 60 months, right? Which is like 5 years. But the difference is pretty much like $7,000. But look at the example for the mortgage, which is 30 years. Look at the difference, just the $300K difference on what you would be paying if you had a bankruptcy on your credit report versus not having one on your credit report. Because you can still get a mortgage with a bankruptcy on your credit report, but $3K. Like, you're okay with paying the difference and that as far as interest? Like, you're okay with that? And that's what I mean when I say you are the money. That's exactly what I'm talking about when I say you are the money. Because anything that you take out, they're going to tack interest on it. So if you're the money and you don't have a bankruptcy on your credit report, $300K could be the difference on what you're going to be paying. You ain't getting no benefit off of paying interest. They don't care about you at all. But don't just leave that bankruptcy on that credit report, especially if it doesn't have to be on there. There is no way that me, personally, Jeremy, is going to sit up here and continue to pay money when I don't have to. But if you want the exact letters that I use in order to get my bankruptcy taken off my credit report, then just click the link in the bio, grab the letters. There's also a bankruptcy eraser ebook that walks you step by step on everything that you need to do in order to get your bankruptcy taken off your credit report. If you want those, click the link in the bio, and I'll see you on the next video.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.